My good people, before we get to the new episode with Alexis, I wanted to shout out the sponsor of this episode, the amazing Abridge app, where you record your record. I've partnered with them just to share how great this app has been. I use it in my own personal life, and it's definitely been a game changer. What can you do with the Abridge app? Well, I'm glad you asked. First, you can record all of your health conversations that you have with your doctor or clinician, maybe your physical therapist, your psychologist. Basically, it helps you focus on the great care that you intend to get without having to worry about remembering medical terms or what the doctor said. It's really simple. All you do is tap the big button in the app and it starts recording, and you can sit back, relax, and pay attention to what the doctor is saying. Then, once you have it recorded, of course, you can review and replay it. You actually listen to your doctor's advice just as it was said. And the technology in this app is so amazing that it actually pulls out medical terms for you. So, if there were diagnosis or medications or treatments that were discussed in your appointment, the technology pulls it out for you so you can easily find it later. And then, lastly, one of the greatest things about this app that I love is that you can share everything that you record with loved ones or those that mean the most to you. Maybe someone couldn't come to a doctor's appointment with you. Life happens, right? We get busy. But the great thing is you can take that information you just got from your doctor's office and send it right over to them. That then gives them peace of mind knowing that they know exactly what happened in the appointment, and then they can better know how to support you along your journey. So, again, huge shout out to the Abridge app for sponsoring this podcast episode. Guys, check it out. It's available on all platforms and all app stores, and I definitely want to hear what you think, okay? All right, on to the podcast. Hello, this is Yolanda Murphy, and welcome to this Exceptional Journey podcast, where you will find inspiration to live courageously through adversity, empowerment to live freely despite your past, and ignition to live boldly in your purpose, all by walking the survivor side of life. Good people, what is up? It is your girl, Yolanda, back with another episode of this exceptional journey. If this is your first time clicking over to this little corner of my podcast world, what's up? How have you been? Glad that you're here. And if this is not your first time, girl, wasn't that last one amazing? Oh, we got to have some coffee and talk about it, right? But again, it's your girl back with another episode of this exceptional journey. As you can tell from the title, I have an amazing guest with me today. But before we get to her, oh, hey, girl, you wanted to say something?
No, I just want to say hey.
Hey. But before I introduce her and tell you how amazing she is, I always want to plug my social media because I am Forgetful Jones. Please tell me you remember Forgetful Jones. Remember Forgetful Jones from Sesame Street with that cowboy hat? See, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you. I'm not that old. Goodness gracious.
No.
But anyway, social media, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at This Exceptional Journey. And then on Twitter at TEJ Podcast. Guys, connect with me. Hit me up. Hashtag TEJ Podcast. Questions, comments, suggestions. Your girl wants to hear from you. So, I have this little bite-sized woman with me here today.
Me.
This is Alexis, guys. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
So, I mean, as you probably heard from the Survivor series that I've done with previous young adult cancer survivors, I also wanted to incorporate into the mix people who are not themselves cancer survivors, but have either been directly affected or connected by young adult people with cancer. And Alexis is going to tell her story, but she actually works in an oncology office here in the city of Pittsburgh. And she herself is a young adult, which I was like, there's just no way I can't have you on the podcast. I mean, that's like a double whammy. So I was like, Alexis, girl, I need you on the podcast. Let's make it happen. And we did. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Oh, pleasure. What are you, Chick-fil-A? Oh, that's so beautiful. And just to give you hindsight, Alexis and I go to the same church. We sing in the same choirs, like
Yes.
literally. So we know each other a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We know each other a little
We
bit.
do.
But so if you see our banter, it's because we have a relationship already. So
Yes.
you know. So Alexis is here. I think I want to call this because I was asking Alexis in her professional field, like, what do they call, loved ones that care for cancer patients? And you said they call them caregivers or support.
Yep.
Because I already called the podcast with the young adult cancer survivors. I call it the Survivor Series. So I think I want to call this one the Co-Survivor Series.
I like that. That's hot.
I just did that, guys.
That's hot.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag don't steal my name. All right, thank you. So I told Alexis I would love to discuss with you, like, she sees every day the ins and outs of cancer patients and all different types of cancer. Because I mean, you were telling me in your office you treat how many different types of cancer?
Anything below the waist, so uterine, vaginal, endometrial, and then we do have treat patients with breast cancer also.
So she sees it all.
Yes.
It's not just breast cancer,
Right.
things like that. And she sees all ages, of
Yes.
course. So tell me, first of all, a little bit about the office, maybe, like, what the morale is like, because it has to be difficult. I mean, when I go to my PCP, they're already mean. Like, I mean, because they not mean, but they already see cancer, like tons of people
Right.
in general,
Right.
colds, flu, diabetes. But you literally see people that are sometimes at their worst. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So tell me a little bit about it, girl.
So my office, like Yolanda said, I work in a gynecology oncology office. So we mainly see a lot of patients whose cancer are below the waist, but we do see breast cancers also. The morale in my office, I have the best coworkers, hands down.
beautiful.
Like, we always see that it could be us, and our situations could be worse than what it is. So we always try to always have that upbeat morale when our patients come through our office. Like, it doesn't always work. One of us sometimes have a bad day, but
course.
overall, we always know, like, we're very grateful and thankful, like, that we are able to even just bring a smile to a patient's face, because sometimes that smile is what will help them get through their next chemo treatment, just be able to get through the next minutes of their, because we have patients who come in through pain because of the chemo treatments, through they get radiation also. So it's just a lot of things that's going on with their body. So us being nice, like, it's not an option. Like, it's your
Right.
job.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't see it that way. Like, it is your job to be nice.
It
like,
is your job.
I understand they see a lot of people, and it can be a lot. It can really be a lot. But at the end of the day, this is what you signed up for.
Right. And if you don't want to be here, and this
Right.
is not what you want to do,
Right.
you're go to door.
Right.
Like that. I'm
And
sorry
there's
to be
the
truthful.
door.
Yeah. My boss, she's an amazing boss. She brings people to the team that can know that our number one rule is patient first. Whatever the patient needs, that is what needs to be done. If we have to jump off a bridge to get
But you are
what the
right.
patient, right.
Okay.
But to get what the patient needs, because at the end of the day, we are here for our patients. And we never want a patient to walk away from us thinking like they didn't do enough for us, or I felt like I was alone in this. So, like, my boss, she does not play about
Wonderful. That's
us
good.
being like patient oriented. Like, whatever
Good.
we got going on, she cares about it.
Of course.
But when it's time to put that face on,
Hello. It is time
Yes.
to treat the patient.
exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, so how long have you been in the field?
I've been in my current position, it'll be 3 years in June.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And what did you think when you first, like, signed up? Like, when you first saw the position?
I was excited, and I'm still excited for my job, for my position, because it's just like I get to do something. I get to put a smile on somebody's face every day. I get to be that beacon of light, that beacon of hope. I'm like the first line of, like, when people call, I'm that person that's taking that phone call when you first get the news that you have a cancer and you need to see one of our doctors. And our patients say, y'all are the nicest people, but I don't ever want to come back and see you.
Listen, I remember when I was doing radiation, and of course, for some of you that don't know, depending upon, of course, what type of radiation you have,
right.
I had to do radiation for 6 weeks every day, literally 5 days a week. I was off. I had off Saturday and Sunday, but for 6 weeks straight, nonstop, I saw these babies. I mean, I was getting to know them, like, oh, how's the family? How's Bob and Jim?
Exactly.
And like we were becoming like close, and then on the last day, you'd be like, all right, you have a nice life. I hope I never see you again. But yeah, that's so true.
That's how it be. Like, you mean you are nice. That's what they always tell us. You're very nice. You're a great office. But I really don't want to see you guys again. And if I can have that option, thanks. It's not y'all.
No, it's not you.
Right.
It's not you. It's me.
It's me. Right.
It's not you. It's me.
So we get that a lot. So
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. So that's good. And like you said, it's so important to remember that you just never know. And unfortunately, in my 3-year survivorship at this point with breast cancer, I've lost some cancer friends. And it's not fun. Like, it's not fun. And at the end of the day, you guys see it left and right
every day.
And I can't even imagine. So
to see, like, so I'm the person, like, so I answer the phones, and so I'm not usually the first person that will get you if you're calling for the first time because you just got this diagnosis. But then I'm on the other side of it. I'm that person that has to send, I'm sorry for your loss cards. And so I think just maybe 3 weeks ago, I think every day I got 3 or 4 of the emails. Cease to breathe. Like, it was ridiculous. And you get close to these people.
Absolutely.
Like, you see them through their worst of times. And so you see them at the beginning, and to see that, like, they fought the fight, like they tried their hardest, their damnedest to be here. Right. It's just like to get that notification that they were no longer here. It could be so saddening.
Right.
And like, and you get attached to these. There was this one young lady, and she was older than me, but she was just so lively. And her death, I took hard. It was just like, because you get attached to these people, like especially when you're seeing them every week.
Wow, that's very true. That's very true, and that's really cool. Yeah, that you guys send out the cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't want them to think that they're just a number, another number in our office. That's not how we roll in my particular office. We get everyone to sign the cards. So everybody in the office who was part of their team, we get them to sign the cards. Our doctors and like PAs usually put a personal note in there, and then we mail them off to the family once we find out who it is. Beautiful. But it's just so that you don't never think that, oh, I was just another number. Right. You're not just another number.
Yeah, the family feels that way as well. So that's good. That's amazing. Every doctor's office, if you're a doctor and you're listening, you should do that. Just make sure you send out the cards to the patients, okay? Right. So that's cool. So that has to be difficult. I mean, you see them and then sometimes you don't see them again.
Right.
Ooh, I can't. I just, excuse me. I just can't imagine. Yeah. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
Kudos to you. And so have you ever seen anyone come in your office that you've known? Like as a patient?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I have a couple people that I know that we're not close, but I know of them.
But
you know what I mean? Like I have like one of my son's persons from their school go to like comes there for their checkups and things like that. So there are sometimes people be like, hey, how you doing? And so it's just it's always nice to have a face that when you're going to something unknown note. So it's nice to be that person for them when they're coming in and like, or if they're having problems and they'll give me a call like, hey, can you find this out for me, or could you tell me what's going on? Let me see what I can do for you. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that was
always
be my
nice.
Question. Yeah, I was gonna say, would it be awkward? Like, how would people respond? But I remember when I was going through baby, I was like, Alexis, come here.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this?
Right.
Now they want to put me on this medicine.
Right.
What is
Let
this?
me get back to you.
Right.
I found out for you and
Listen,
get back to you.
I was not playing these games. As soon as I found out this baby was in the office, I don't even remember how. I think you came up to me and was like, I know what you're going through. Something you said. I was like, thank you, Lex, girl. Thank you. There on out, I was like, Lex, come here, girl. Come here, girl. I got a question.
Right.
Because I needed to ask somebody who knew.
Right, who knew.
You know what I mean?
And I know people who know. So even if I didn't know, I'm going to go back and be like, hey,
right
I need you to tell me what this is. What's the effects of this going to be?
I was grateful. I was yet grateful because, I mean, like you said, it's great to know someone and have a face of someone you could trust.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're going through stuff, excuse me, not to say, I don't trust my doctors or anything like that, but you know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you would be like, no, sis, listen. Like, no, that's not what you want to do. Like, this is what you want to do. Write this down.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Right. Write this down.
And even like with patients that you don't know, when you get to know them, sometimes you have to be that person to go to the doctor and to be like, look, you cannot talk medical to them. Talk to them like they don't understand none of this medical stuff that you are saying. Talk to them like they are a little kid, and you need to know, like, you cannot, and don't talk down to them, because I think a lot of people, when they're in that position, like, you have to understand where the patient is coming from. Like, you cannot just go in there and be like, okay, Mrs. So-and-so, blah, blah, blah. No, that does not work with our patients at all. Like, they know, like, and some patients are more comfortable because we are so down to earth.
Right.
Hey, could you just, sure, let me go have a talk with them.
Right.
See what we can do.
Right.
So it's just, we get close with our patients. It's great.
I love it. So tell me this, though. With the patients that you see, what percentage would you say are young adult?
So we have a small percentage of young adults in our
that's not bad.
In our office that come and see us, which is a great thing. I mean, what you consider a young adult, like
under 40.
Yeah, so we have a small percentage. A lot of our patients are older. And when I say older, like, we probably like 70 and above.
Really? Okay.
A lot of our patients, because we deal with a lot of the cancers that happen below the waist, a lot of patients stop getting pap smears.
Oh, yeah.
Once they hit menopause and done with menopause, they feel like they don't have to really go, well, I can't have no more babies. This stuff ain't. But you still got all the parts.
Yeah, you still got the parts.
And so we have a lot of patients that come in that are elderly.
Okay.
I think the oldest that I've ever had, like, a first time cancer diagnosis for them was like 90-something years old.
What?
Yeah. So it's nice that the young adults is not so much. And when it is a young adult, they catch it early enough.
Oh, good.
Because we are the ones that go and get your pap smear every year.
Yeah.
You get your gynae exam every year. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That, it's such a small, but a lot of our patients are older.
Yeah.
We have older patients that come to our office.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And of the, I mean, I know you have a lot of older, but of the young adults you do see, how are their morales usually?
Scared.
Yeah.
when they first come in that first appointment, I think a lot of people are scared.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't know what to expect. A lot of people think they're going to have surgery that first day. No, baby.
Oh,
It's just a consult.
Right.
It's just a consult. You're just coming in to see the doctor so we can figure out what your treatment plan is going to be and what we're going to go from there. But I think, like, they're just scared. Unfortunately, a lot of our young adults, they have kids, or like, I think our youngest patients that we have had, and thank the Lord she did not have cancer, but she just had things going on with her body that she needed to see us for. But she was like 14, maybe 14, 15, 16. So it's just like, it just ranges from what you really need to be seen for. But like, our I think everyone that comes through that door, they're always scared. It's they're just like, oh my gosh, because some people come in because they have precancerous cells, so they need to make sure that it's not, things are going around. So as soon as you hear cancer, I think a lot of people feel like, I'm dead.
No, literally. Like, I remember when I was telling people that I had cancer, I always preface the conversation with, I'm okay. because people do think, cancer equals death just because of what we've seen
Right.
in the media and what we've seen in television shows and in movies. And, again, that was one of the very first things I told people. Even before I said I had cancer, I said, have some news. I'm okay. Like, I'm good. However, ... And I was like, now I'm not crying, so you can't cry. Literally. Legit. And, I try to be in control all the time.
Yes.
But don't say it that hard, though. Yes. Anyway.
You wouldn't be you if you didn't.
I mean, and you're correct. Okay. But I think that is the truth. Like, everyone automatically thinks like
death,
cancer is gonna make me die, or it's going to kill me.
Right.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, not good in the sense that everyone is scared, but it's good to know that it's not just us.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I don't know about anyone else, but I mean, I was 36. I mean, still not married, still no children. Of course I was scared to death. But it's good to know even someone that has lived their life to the fullest,
right?
70s, 80s, 90s. It's good to know that I'm not the only one. I guess is what I'm saying.
At all.
Regardless of your age, cancer hits, and I mean, especially when you're not ready to be gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When you feel like you still got time on this earth.
Yeah. You'd be like, well, Alexis. Oh my gosh. Okay, so office is cool. Coworkers are cool. Tell me about a day that was really, really rough for you.
Frustrating. I won't say rough.
Okay.
Frustrating. I think I get the most frustrated when we have patients that are non-compliant. When you want it more than they want it. When you want them to live more than they want to live. When you get a cancer diagnosis at an early stage, but you are just non-compliant with your follow-up and things. And then now you're at another stage because you just feel like I'm going to get to it. And when you are a and we have, like, unfortunately, I would say in a Black community, like for us, a lot of us are single moms. So we do have single moms that come in there and they try to do everything but take care of themselves. And they be the main ones. It's just like, I need you to sit down.
Right. And take care of you.
Yes. Because your babies need you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you have to get this done. So I think that's what frustrates me the most is when people are just so non-compliant. Cancer is nothing to play with.
No.
And when you have that great chance to beat it, that's what you need to do. You need to buckle down.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to buckle down and get it done.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what frustrates me the most. Because okay, come on. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Let's go. What we need to do. But when we're calling you to come make appointments and set up treatment for you and you're just not answering phone calls or dodging us like a bill collector, that's frustrating.
And you can't make people like do their treatment.
And then especially when our doctors get invested. Our doctors get invested in our patients. Like,
I mean, as they should.
And so it's like when our doctors are like coming down on their off days when they're not in the office, because my office is set up where our providers are in there once a week, but they have surgeries or they're outreach office office hours. But when they're coming down on days that they would just be upstairs in their office not doing anything, trying to put you in and get you in to be seen, and you're just not showing up.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what frustrates me. I won't really say I have a bad day.
Right.
I just have frustrating days.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to look at it. And so in that, in the fact that the patients are being non-compliant, and like, do you guys have a system where you follow up with them above and beyond doctor calls? Because here's my thing. And I mean, I guess it could be a rhetorical question. Because here's my thing. When I first found out I had cancer, big deal. For a while there, it was surreal. Like, it didn't feel, it felt like, this can't, what?
This is not happening.
This is not, right. This is not happening. And not to say that happens with everyone who's non-compliant, but I can only imagine sometimes behind some of those closed doors and unanswered phone calls or terrified people. I mean, that
don't want to start the process because that means they will have to acknowledge that it's happening to them. So yes, we do some of our patients, that is what is going on. But once we get them, we give them that good talk.
Yeah, or they need a good talk.
They need a good talk.
Yes.
They get on board. But there are just some people that you give the good talk to, and it's still like, no, I'm okay. Like, some people just feel like if they don't acknowledge it, it's not real.
No, baby,
and unfortunately, that cancer is all the way
and it's growing.
Real. Yes.
Yeah, and it's growing.
And it could spread fast. Like like ovarian cancer is like so hard to detect. So when you detect it and you find out like you have to treat that right then and there. Like it's just ridiculous. So it's just like when we like, okay, like we're going to give you some time. How much time you need?
Right.
No, we going to give you a week. We'll give you all in a week. And then after that, we need you to come on. But yeah.
Do your thing.
And we understand you're scared out of your mind. Like, nobody ever wants to hear you have cancer.
Right. Right.
No one ever wants to hear that.
No one ever.
Ever.
No.
But at the end of the day, when you find that out, you're allowed to be in your feelings.
Oh, of course.
And angry and have your moments, but at the end of the day also you have to get treated. You need to be treated, or you need surgery.
Yeah. So
you have to do what you need to do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Please follow up, guys, if you're listening. Follow up on your appointments. It's so important. So let me ask you this, kind of spin it a little bit. Have you ever known anyone, well, besides me, of course, that was a young adult with cancer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Breast cancer.
Okay.
And endometrial cancer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just.
And how was that for you?
Hard. The breast cancer I think was a little easier to deal with.
Listen.
But when you have cancer below the waist, the first thing that comes to mind is that you're not going to be able to have kids.
Yep.
Because one of the things they do usually is give you a hysterectomy. Like you're getting that so they can take everything out.
Right.
And so if you're a young person who dreamed of having kids, not that dream is crushed. If you dreamed of having biological kids, that's one of the saddest thing that I've seen one of my friends go through. It's just that I'm not going to be able to have my own kids. Not that my dream of having kids is gone.
Right.
But,
it's not completely crushed.
Right. But yeah. To be able to give my husband.
Exactly.
If I were married, a child, that I think that's crushing. Not even that I have cancer. It was just that I'm not going to be able to give my kid, give myself a kid or have a kid. So that's always, yeah,
it's a lot. I think I talked about on my menopause episode of the podcast some of those same sentiments in that, at this juncture I'm on tamoxifen, so my doctors are like, well, we'll see. Okay. I don't like the sound of that. But like you said, there are other options, but me being someone who was adopted, which I've also talked about in another episode, I don't know my biological family. I don't have any biological ties. I have family, of course. My mom and dad are my mom and dad.
Right.
Always will be. And on both of the sides of their family, my dad's side, of course, which is huge, and then my mom's side, that's my family, of course. But it's just something about knowing somebody who's biologically tied to you. There's just something about it. Right. And I remember growing up, and I used to say, like, any of my childhood friends or my high school friends, even college friends, will tell you, like, when people would say how many kids you want, I would be like 10. Straight up. Like, of course, this is like being a young person and you have no idea what it takes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To like go through what you need to go through to have a child.
She said 10.
No, I did. But here was the preface behind it. Growing up as a teenager, I always wanted 10 kids because I wanted as many people around me that looked like me.
Gotcha.
Literally. I would have said more if it wasn't outlandish. To me, 10 was not outlandish. 10 was a perfect number. It ended in 0.
Right.
And it was more than 5.
True.
But that was the preface behind it, is because I knew no one. And people, of course, I mean, you always, go through the argument of nature versus nurture. And, people always say, oh my goodness, I would have never known you were adopted. And that's fine. I'm grateful. Again, me being adopted or not biologically tied to my family, that is my family. Right. You know what I'm saying? Without a shadow of a doubt. But like I said, growing up, nobody looked like me. I did not look like anyone. My personality was always different. And you always in the back of your mind, you're like,
who am I really like?
Exactly. But anyway, so I say that to say, on the tamoxifen, I completely understand, that fear of being that young adult.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know.
Right.
And as women, they say after a certain age, your eggs are dried up. And so they already trying to say, Miss Murphy, how old are you? I'm like, it don't matter.
Right.
Just take the eggs out. Let's go.
Freeze them until I'm ready.
Listen. Well, the unfortunate reality is I didn't have time to do that, but that's another story for another time. Yeah, don't even talk about it. But anyway, girl. So that was a little detrimental for you to know people that are close. And then, I mean, as a young adult yourself, you have children. Let me say a sentence. I don't even know what just came out my mouth. Would you? So, being a mother, she has 2 boys. Being a mother, what would your world look like if one of your sons had cancer? Wouldn't that be crazy?
I don't even know.
Isn't that crazy?
I'd never. And so that men can get cancer.
Oh, for sure.
We have had men come in with breast cancer.
I believe it.
And even though it's a small group or a small percentage that it happens to, we have had men come in my office with breast cancer.
I believe it.
And so I don't know how my world would be without my kids. I am the person I am today because of my kids.
Right.
And so to imagine God saying, okay, their time is up.
Girl.
Me and God might have to have some words.
Hello. We would definitely have to
Jesus,
have words.
what's going on?
Right.
This is what's not in my, even though God already has our life, already planned out for us in our minds.
Right. In our finite minds.
Right. In our minds, we always think as a parent, oh, I'm going to go before my kids.
Yeah, girl.
And to have something happen to those babies, I always say I will shut Pittsburgh down if something happened to my babies.
She would. And I get it.
Yes. So I couldn't imagine, them not being here with me.
Yeah.
Could not imagine.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, it's a tough road to hoe.
It's so hard, like, to even with that, for we have our patients who have children. So, like I said, not all of our patients are like seniors. We do have a nice gap, like, between the age of, like, some young adults, but then they're in their 40s and 50s and 60s that have cancer, but they have kids too. And so for them not to live to see their kids grow up, like, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And you see them fight. The reason why they fight so hard is so for their kids. So I couldn't imagine being in their shoes knowing like I'm not going to be here to see my kids grow up.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's big. And I think a lot of, on one end of the spectrum, and I always say to people, I hate to say genre, but every age bracket of cancer patients have a determination, have a focus, have a goal.
Right.
Children, of course, you just want them to live. You know what I mean? Children with cancer, that's just horrible.
Right.
You want them to live. You want them to be able to live life fully, all their live long days. Then you have the, like, teenage to young adults. And it is that I want to be able to graduate high school. I want to be able to graduate college. I want to be able to get married, have my own children, and thwart my life, have a career, all of these things. And then, like you said, you have the middle age to older where they've lived a little more life, but they still want to be there for their loved ones. Right. They don't want them to have to, like, suffer through losing them.
Right.
So cancer at any age is hard, regardless if you're 5 or if you're 95. Cancer is cancer.
Right.
But I think what I at least got from what you just said is every age range kind of has their own thing.
Right.
That they focus on.
Their own motivation to make them get through the treatments or, things like that. Like, usually our older group of people that come in, like, it's their grandkids or it's their husband or, it's something like that. Like, I gotta live because our anniversary is coming up, or I have to get through this because of this, or my daughter's getting married, or my son's getting married. Like, they have their motivations to say, okay, when can we start? Because then we have some people that come in are gun ho. Doctor, can you do the surgery today?
No, legit.
You're like, no, let's just figure out what we're going to do.
No, for real.
you sometimes we have this spectrum. Like, some people are just, like, still in shock from it, and some people have accepted it.
And they ready.
I love it. So,
I
you know,
love it. I was a little bit of both. I was still in shock, but I was still like, okay, and what's next? And when is it scheduled for?
right.
And are
How
you
long is
doing
it going to take?
Yes, I was
Do I need
asking.
to do it?
I was
Because I have patients like
right.
that will do everything on their own. Like, I just wanted to let you know that I got this scheduled, my MRI is scheduled for this. I didn't need an authorization for that. Look, I'll
That's
be
somebody
like,
who wants
what
to
you know?
live. That's somebody who's like, I'm not done yet.
Right.
I love it.
At all.
I love it.
At all.
That's good though. I mean, because you want people who, like you said, you don't want them to be non-compliant. I want you to
fight.
live. Yeah.
They fight.
I love it.
For everything.
I love it. I love it. All right, Lex. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
So we talked about the doctor's office. You know, we talked about, how you've been directly affected as a young adult, but also having friends, that have had young adult cancer. We talked about your babies. And of course, Pittsburgh would be shut down. We already know. But if you could say to a young adult cancer patient, first day, really, really encouraging words, what would you say? Just with everything that you know, everything that you've seen, if a young adult came in with whatever cancer, under the age of 40, let's say 36, what would be some good tidbits of advice you would give them?
The one thing I tell all my patients, no matter what the age is if I get you on the phone, God got you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Whether they're spiritual or not,
yeah.
God got you. And then I reassure them that the doctor that they are going to see, they got you. God gave them God put this in them to want to do this. And they're all my doctors that I work for are very passionate about, because they're surgeons.
Okay.
So
yep.
They're very passionate about what they do. Their goal is to always save everyone that comes in their care. And so that's my thing. Like, God got you, the doctor got you, and then we here for you too. And some people just need to hear that encouragement, and they need to know that they're not in this alone. I think that's the biggest thing, that when people feel like they are supported,
absolutely,
it makes a world of a difference. Absolutely. No matter what is going on, if they know, because unfortunately we have some patients who don't have that support system at home.
No, you're right.
And especially when they're older. Like, some of them are in nursing homes. Some of them, like, their children don't live here, and it's hard for them to get that. So to know that they have a support system, and I think that what makes everything always okay is like, okay, my doctor's office got my back no matter what. They're doing the best that they can in everything that they do when it comes to my care. It's just always to reassuring them that they're not in this alone.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing, that you're not in this alone.
Wonderful.
You're allowed to cry. I always tell you have every right to cry. You have every right to be upset, to let them know that their feelings are validated. Like, validate their feelings. Never say, well, you shouldn't be crying. Never. That's the worst thing that you can ever do.
That's beautiful.
Validate their feelings. Yes, you're allowed to be angry, pissed off, whatever. But at the end of the day, we got your back.
Absolutely.
When you're ready to fight.
Absolutely. I love it. Where was this doctor's office when I needed it? Sorry. No, I'm just joking. My doctor's offices were amazing. That is great. That is great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So the guys, that was Alexis.
Hey.
So I think it would be just absolutely amazing. So before we go, I'm sorry, I forgot we wanted to talk about the
support center.
Yes.
So
I forgot.
That's a little bit.
See?
So my doctor's office that I work in.
We should talk about that a long time ago. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I completely forgot.
So what she's talking about, what Yolanda is talking about, is my doctor's office. Maybe starting in October of last year, we came up with a support center for our support people that come with our patients, because not only does the patient need support, but the people who are supporting them need support also. So we came up with this basically program, if that's what you want to call it, that we have that, for the caregiver support person, just to be able to help them with things that they may be going through with supporting the person that, is going through the cancer. Not that we're trying to take away from the patient, but also just to be able to add to that, to say like, okay, so your caregiver or your support person, what do they need? What are they in a need of? Do they need FMLA papers filled out? Do they need help because they've been taken off so long? Do they need help paying for bills? Do they need a gas card? What can we do to help you? Do they need therapy,
right?
Because of, even though it's directly affecting the patient, the person who's supporting them could be going through mental,
Yep.
And emotional,
Yep.
and may need mental or emotional support also. So we have that set up for them also. So it's just nice. That's something that, like, one of our providers and our team came up with, and just ideas of how we are able to put that out there so they know that it's out there for you. And even if you're not the direct support person, it's there for you also. So it's just nice for us to have that for them.
Wonderful. Doesn't it sound like that's just an amazing doctor's office?
We try.
Oh my gosh, I feel like everyone should want to go there. That's so beautiful.
Yes, but not really.
No. Yes, but not
You
really.
can come and say hi.
And that's it. No.
Right.
We're not taking any more patients.
Right. We're done.
Girl, yes. I think that's all I had questions about. You touched on everything I wanted you to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
Because I mean it's crucial, you know what I mean? I think at least when I think about all of my doctor's offices and all of the support team, that comes along with it, I don't think there was anyone young. Like, I think it was everyone was older, like at least 40s.
Yeah.
I want to say when I did my radiation, there were 2 young women that were radiologists. Is that what they call them?
Yes.
One of them was probably like early 30s, and the other one was probably about mid 30s. But one of them left like shortly after I started because she got a better job doing something. But they were always so upbeat, always very patient. One of them I actually kind of got close with, and we would be talking about like having side conversations, and they would be like, "All right, it's time for your next patient." She would be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to go." So it was really cool. I mean, speaking from a young adult cancer survivor's perspective, it was great to see someone my age in the office because, I mean, going to go to the mammograms and going whether to my med onco or my rad onco or my surgical, I mean, I was always the youngest one.
Right.
Always. So having someone on staff that is my age that can relate to, like,
Right.
I mean, we basically listen to the same music. We like the same actors and actresses. Like, I'm not talking to someone who thinks that, what was that older white lady's name? I want to say Meryl Streep, but it's not Meryl Streep.
Are you talking about Betty?
Audrey Hepburn.
I'm about to say.
Audrey Hepburn. It would be great to be able to talk to someone who doesn't think Audrey Hepburn was like the greatest actress to ever live. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Let's talk
That's
about.
That's not how it is in our office. A lot of my coworkers are 37, 38 or younger.
I love it. I would have loved to see that in my
Majority of
offices.
us are young, vibrant.
Right. Professionals.
Professionals,
I love it. Yeah.
So that is one of the good things. And I think that young, vibrant thing that we have, that actually, I guess, brushes off onto our older patients, because it's just nice for them to be like, okay, y'all, your little bit of energy is giving me energy.
Rubs
Like,
off.
you know what I mean? They come in all
spunky.
Yeah, they walk out with a good spunk in their step and everything, and laughing and stuff. So I think, like, not that I'm saying like older people can't give it,
of course,
but it's just nice to see that, like, okay, yes, because in my office I always say we're one big dysfunctional family, but we get each other so much, and like, you'll hear us singing. My one coworker, she sings to our patients, like, unintentionally. She'll be checking them in and out, and all of a sudden you'll hear notes coming from out of her, and I'll be like, "You need help over there?" And they'll be like, "That's what I do." It's just, she's such a sweetheart, so it's just nice to, like, that's what we do. And they always like, "Oh, you have such a lovely voice," or "Your office is amazing." It's just, I think it's that energy that we give to our patients.
And that's necessary. That energy is necessary because you about to go through probably the worst bouts of whatever you about to face.
And chemo ain't no joke. Radiation ain't no joke. When you going through surgery, that ain't no joke, because you don't even know if you're going to make it through your surgery. It's just, you have all those doubts and everything that runs through your head of everything that could go wrong. So just to be able to come in the office where everybody is just like, okay, so what can we do for you today? What's going on? Why that face? Like, we get on our patient. Smile, you're here today. God woke you up this morning. That's another day. Come on.
Such bullies. Clearly they're bullies. No, it sounds like, aren't they bullying people,
no,
guys?
We're not bullying. We're just encouragers.
Forceful encouragers.
Hey,
you
works.
better smile.
Right.
That is funny.
Right.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't
that
see
is
no
so
smile
funny.
coming from over
I don't
there.
see you smiling today. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh man, but that's good though. That's good. Let's just all pray that every doctor's office is just that great because I hear horror stories all the
Yeah.
time, all the
We're
time.
not perfect. Don't get me wrong. We're
Oh,
not
baby,
we're
ain't
not
nobody
perfect,
perfect.
but we try to make it. We know that it could be us. And if we were in that shoes, how would we want somebody to treat us?
Absolutely,
And that's
as it
that's
should be.
that's the forethought for us. Like if this was us or this was our family members in these people's shoes, how would we want them to be treated? So we're going to treat them how we would want ourselves to be treated if it was us or if our family members were in these shoes. That's how we would want them to be treated. And my like I said, my boss, she's a bomb.com boss. She's on it. Like how would she gives us these talks? And like sometimes it could be draining. Don't get me wrong. It could be draining, but she gives us those pep talks to be like, okay, this was a rough day, but tomorrow is a new day. And so it's just nice. But
Wonderful.
always we try our best.
I mean, that's all you really can do. That's all you really can do. So,
True.
do you see yourself being in this office for a while?
I do. I
Wonderful.
really enjoy I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy my job. Yes, it could be draining. Yes, it could be frustrating. But overall, the reward for me is great. When I see my patients and they come down and say, I made it through my last chemo treatment. I made it through my last radiation treatment. I'm cancer free. I don't have to come back and see you no more, even though it was nice. Like those are always the reward outweigh anything else that may be going on. Like, and even though yes, we do see the downside of it, or when our patients die and don't make it through, but you know that they've lived a great life. You know that they fought the fight. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just it always that reward for me to know like, okay, I was there to help that patient, even though they didn't make it. I was there. I was a sunshine. I was a good spot. I was the light for them.
Absolutely.
That's always the best thing for me. So
That's
yes.
beautiful. Oh my gosh, are you crying, guys?
Stop it.
Tissue. Teardrop closest to my heart.
Oh gosh.
But that is amazing, though. That is amazing, and it's so necessary. And I think that, of course, which is why I asked you to be on the podcast. It's so vital and crucial to know, that not only do young adults get breast cancer or any cancer. I'm sorry, not just breast cancer, but any cancer in general. But we do have people in the offices that got our back that are the same age as us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That are fighting for us, that have our backs, that, are rooting for us.
Yes, most definitely.
Because again, like I said, when I saw that one rad tech, I was like, oh my gosh, she's my age. I feel like I can talk to her. And not that I couldn't talk to anybody else, but you understand.
But it's different, right?
We're kind of at same levels in life, so that's always
right.
Good to
When
see.
you have that connection with somebody that
Right.
oh, I'm coming in the office, I'll see you there,
Yup.
and like you're sad when you miss something. You be like,
What
oh,
day you gonna be
man.
here?
Right.
Oh, okay, what's your
Okay.
shift?
Right. I'm gonna make
Let me
sure
write
I'm
this
there.
down.
Right.
But yeah, that's crucial though. That's definitely important. And I want to say thank you for all the cancer patients for what you do.
Yes.
No, I'm saying thank you.
Oh, thank you.
She said yes.
Yes.
Yes, girl, yes.
Yes.
No, baby, thank you.
Oh, thank you
For everything that you do, because it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. And, your outlook on it and everything that you bring, like you said, that light and that sunshine is needed.
Yeah.
When I think back to when I was going through chemo and radiation, there were doctors and nurses that would smile because, there would be days where I wasn't smiling. I would be like,
Get out of my face.
just another one? Okay, let's go. But then when there would be days, they would be like, oh my goodness, Yolanda, how you doing? I would be like, I'm good, y'all. But it wasn't every day, like you said.
It's not.
We all have days, but thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, because
You're
it's
welcome.
necessary. It is crucial. It is definitely something that is needed from or for someone who's battling cancer. So thank you, girl. So that's going to be it, y'all. I know she brings the ghetto out of me. I'm so sorry.
Stop it.
Oh my gosh, she brings out all of this. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, guys.
Really?
Anyway, guys. But for real, it was really, really good having you on the podcast. Thank you for your perspective, because I think some of the things that you said will definitely resonate not only with young adult cancer patients, but people in general that have loved ones that are facing it. I think that whole support system that you guys have is amazing for the co-survivors. That's phenomenal. That's amazing.
Yes.
So that's it, guys. Thank you again, Lex, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for letting me be here.
I'm sorry, what? I'm
I
sorry.
said thank you for letting me be here.
I was talking all over
myself.
you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
As I keep
Continue
talking
on.
and you keep talking and we just both keep talking. But for real, y'all, that's it. Thank you so much for listening and or for watching. Hopefully something that we've said, some nuggets that we've dropped can help you. If you're the person that's going through, or if you have a loved one that's going through a diagnosis. And a lot of times, just as I say, in other podcasts, some of the things that we've said can be applied to other things other than cancer. You can have diabetes, you can have high blood pressure, you can have endo. We both know people who have endo, and just walking into a doctor's office knowing someone, has your back and things like that is also crucial and important. So take the little nuggets that you can, guys. Hopefully that you got some. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, definitely let me know. Don't forget to subscribe on any platform that you're listening or watching. And I'll check you guys on the next one. Peace.